Alright guys, we're gonna make some chai today for chai and chat. Hey guys, welcome to Chai and Chat. This is episode 001. Every week we plan on doing a new episode, launching every week on different topics that people don't want to talk about. The whole concept behind this is obviously chai and chat. My name is Salman Lasker. Everybody introduce yourself so we can start this program.
Yeah. So this is Farouk here, Farouk Amin.
This is Junaid Solomon.
This is Jamil Rahman.
Every week we'll invite a special guest to come on board, but you're definitely going to see four of us here talking about different topics. If you have any topic that you want us to talk about, leave a comment below and just let us know, there's a lot of things that most people don't talk about, and these are things that we're going to open up to and we're going to talk about today. First, I want you guys all to know I made the chai. I want you guys to try the chai. The sugar is there. Put as much sugar. We got biscuit. I mean, this is straight up Desi style. So yeah, guys, check out the chai. This is sugar missing, mate.
So what's in the chai?
Good about sugar.
Well, I made my chai a little bit different, where I put more milk than water. We used Indian tea leaf in it as well. We didn't use anything special. Something that we want to do next week is like put cardamom, different taste to it as well. We want to try different stuff. We should definitely try Kashmiri chai.
Yeah.
I heard that's one of the hardest type of chai to make. Yeah, but definitely we'll try to make it. Also, whenever we make different types of chai, we're gonna put the description below
How to make it.
Hey, once again, we're not professional tea makers, okay?
So don't judge, please.
We're not chai wallas over here.
And this is not sponsored.
This is not sponsored. We're trying our best. Maybe one day you could come to the show and try the chai.
Yeah.
And have a chat.
Yes.
I'm gonna put some.
And then we also have biscuit.
Yes.
Sammy, you wanna enlighten a little bit of what kind of biscuit this is, because it's looking amazing.
We have all my brown people, Bengali people know what this is. Mr. Cookie. It's one of my favorite cookies out there. So try it out one time and see how it tastes.
All right, guys. So what are we talking about this week? Let's start off talking about something interesting.
I think, lately, some of the conversations that we've been having a lot about life,
Yeah.
relationship, right? Dealing with stress. So maybe, since this is our first one, we can talk a little bit about that, how you deal with it, how you handle it. Because at the end of the day, look, we're all busy. We all have full schedule. We have multiple jobs in many sense, right? We have family. So I think the way we deal with it is key to being able to make the time as well, like we're here right now, right? So yeah, let's, I guess we can talk about that. Maybe you can start off with your busy schedule and time. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. This is open, right? Anything that you feel that you want to share and help.
So one of the things I've always wanted to talk about, and I think all you guys can agree with me as well, is we all come from a similar background where we're ambitious, we're entrepreneurs, we want to do different businesses and stuff like that. And one of the biggest struggles that I've seen in our community is that kids have for example, the parents when they're younger. For example, when I was younger, my parents wanted me to be a doctor. I studied.
Yo, this chai.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah. Yo, you guys.
Good job, man.
Come on, man.
Good job on the chai.
I worked hard on the chai.
Chef Lascar out here right now.
This chai is on point. So, I think when we grew up, our parents enforced it upon us that you should be a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer. Those three things are so broad and so important in our community that kids are like so forced into it. Like I feel like the creativity is just taken away from an individual. Yeah,
agreed.
We're living in a country. We're living in a time and an era where you can do anything. You can become anyone. You want to be a singer. You want to be a rapper. you want to be a content creator. There's so many different opportunities, right? But I feel like kids were so pushed into that direction. Like, for example, in my own experience, I studied biology for 2 years and I hated it.
Yeah.
It's not me. I did not like science. I barely... Mate, you got to turn your phone off, mate.
So sorry about that.
Sorry about that. But
It's my landlord.
Another problem.
Landlord problem.
Rent's been paid.
Another
Believe
topic.
me.
so, you know, like for example, yeah, so I studied biology for 2 years. I hated it. I did horrible. But during that time while I was in college studying biology, I was always trying to do some entrepreneurship, trying to start up some business, handling different aspects of a business and stuff like that, right? So how does a kid, for example, I mean, we're much older now, right? We're in a level where our parents already know what we're gonna do. How does a kid who is a freshman in college open up to his parents and be like, listen, I don't wanna be a doctor, I don't wanna be a lawyer. This is what I like, this is what I do. Because one of the biggest thing I think we spoke about is like kids are afraid to talk to their parents.
Why do you think parents want their kids to be doctors and lawyers so much? Because my understanding is it's all about what people are going to think. If my son's a doctor, then people are going to think this. But what it's more important is what you're happy doing.
It's
Exactly.
more of a culture.
I can tell you right now.
But also culture, right? And on top of that, it's like for them security, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
but there's so much
our-
security in different jobs, though. Right?
I know.
you totally
No, there
right.
are. But our parents, right? For them, what they have seen is the most successful career are people that are in doctor field. They have their own practice. Financial is not a problem, right? Lawyers, guaranteed jobs, never an issue as far as finding jobs. So I think a lot of it on the other side of the parents. I think we also got to think about, one day we're all going to be parents, right?
Yeah.
And our mindset. One would hope that we can still be open to what we want for our kids as our parents.
But I think the number one out of the list you mentioned there was the doctor.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel like it is all down to the fact is if my son's or daughter's a doctor, then people are going to think, oh wow, of me.
Highly, yeah.
But I mean, I don't have it in me to be a doctor, definitely not.
Yeah.
And even if I did, I wouldn't want to be. It's a hard job. There's so many other careers out there that's going to pay just as much or even more.
Yeah.
Also goes
If
back
it is
to-
about the
If it's about that,
Yeah.
yeah. And happiness is more
Happiness is
important.
more
It
important,
also
yeah.
goes back to saying, not even the culture thing, goes back to saying that if you become a doctor, an engineer, or architecture, whatever, whatsoever, education, people thinking like in other, like the brown culture, people think that, oh, this kid is educated, this kid is like in a higher level. But in our sense, we believe in that just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're
Right.
all that smart. You can have no degrees. You could be a brilliant mind.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think there's a couple of steps in this conversation that I think we should definitely get into. One of the things I want to talk about is like, for example, that I've seen a huge problem in, for example, say you're trying to get married, right? You go to see the.
Which I'm in that stage right now.
Yeah. So say you go to see
Not yet.
the family
Being the dumb.
whose girl you're trying to marry, right? They're gonna ask you questions like, "Oh, what are you? Are you a doctor? Or are you a lawyer?"
Yeah.
What do you say when you're a businessman and they don't understand that?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So let's leave that topic towards later on. But the most important topic I think we should start towards is like, how does a freshman or even a high school senior, junior talk to his parents and tell them, hey, mom, dad, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to go forward. And a parent can understand and can be supportive. Because I'll be realistic. I made that same mistake.
Yeah.
I could have saved 2 years of my life by telling my parents, hey, I don't want to study biology. I don't want to be a doctor. It's not going to work out for me. I should study business.
Right.
When is the right opportunity and how do you go about that?
I think that will get easier because I think as the generation is changing now.
Yeah.
So you mentioned we're going to be parents one day, so I am a parent now.
Yeah.
So I don't expect. One thing I do expect is for my son to study and do well at school, but I don't have the expectation he's going to become a doctor.
Yeah.
As long as he's doing something he's happy, he can make a little bit less money. That's fine. As long as he's comfortable making the money he needs, that's good enough for me.
But you're the new generation. right?
absolutely, yeah.
You're
I
the
think-
new open parent generation. Like
I think the same thing happened with it was much more different from my younger brothers, for example. They had it more open because
because you set the
obviously-
wave.
Yeah, I
You
obviously
set the
I
wave.
have set the wave and I already failed towards that. So it was like, okay, let's not like put too much pressure. And I think my parents understood it, you know. So I think he is right. I think we are going to be much different, where we are going to be okay and open to the whole creativity sense of our child or our children doing something that they like and that they want to do, you know.
Absolutely.
But I think it's a huge problem in our society, in our community right now.
So I think it's interesting, right? Because I think one of the best way to tackle it, right? Because I think that's kind of what we want to give in our personal experiences. So for me, what I realize is that my relationship with my mom is a little bit different than the relationship with my dad.
Of course, yes.
So I'm able to talk to her a little bit differently. Like I can open up to her about, let's say, the challenges that I'm facing versus my dad. If I was to tell him about the challenges, he's like, what are you doing? You don't know what you're doing in life, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not a level of understanding, but it's a level of judgment really fast, which discourages me to have a further conversation about the topic. So I think one of the first things that's something that had worked for me is, figure out who you're more comfortable and close with in terms of your mom or dad, right? And then maybe take an approach of having that conversation with one of them first, see how they take it, and get help from them, from your mom or your dad, to open that idea to the other person, who sometimes could be the mom or the dad that are not open to the whole idea of like a different career path than doctor and lawyers, right? So I think for me, that's a good approach that has worked for me. Not that it has been 100% success, but it's an approach. It was a step towards that understanding between parents and I.
I think it's important at this time, what you're saying is to explain to that parent, if you're going to be a businessman, what that means, what you'll be doing, because they don't really understand it, to be honest. They might think...
Right. Unless they come from that background.
Absolutely, yeah. If it's about money, how much money you can make, examples, who's done it, who's doing well at it. I think if they understand it, then it's going to go further.
Well, in order for you to go to tell your parents, hey, I want to be do this, do this, and do that, you have to have a plan. You can't just go. You can't just go straight black and black. Hey, I want to do this. I don't want to be a doctor. You should have a plan. Lay it out to them so you can show them like, hey, I want to become a businessman. They're gonna be like, okay. They're gonna ask you, okay, what kind of business you gonna do? Be like, hey, I want to do this type of business.
Not only businessman, we can say like a painter.
No, I'm just saying in general.
Singer, a rapper.
Like you have to have something.
You have to show them.
To show them that you know what you're gonna be doing. Not just you're not aiming blank.
Yeah, right. And I think also parents should understand and be more open. I think one of the biggest problems that I think we can all agree that we've seen that our parents are not too open talking to the kids about stuff like this.
I kind of draw the line when you're saying I'm going to approach my parents and say I want to become a rapper or a painter. I mean that's like going extreme. I guess you guys will agree as well. You want your kids to say I want to become a rapper. I mean, it's very limited how many people are successful in that career.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. And I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why. Right? Say my son or my daughter, right? They want to be singers, and I put them through singing school or something, for example, right? And I see they're talented and they're into this, and they tell me, "Hey, Dad, I enjoy this a lot. Check this out. I did this sample track, whatever.
Okay, hold on. What in case it's hey, Mom, Dad, I want to be a cashier or a teller or whatever at a supermarket. Is that going to be the same for you?
No, that's not the same, because it's like that's like ambition, right?
Yeah.
There's no ambition in there, right? That's a different topic.
Yeah.
That's a whole different topic.
But I think one of the things, right? I think a lot of the times when we're younger, or even at my age right now, almost hitting 30, a lot of times our parents express, right? Our parents express certain things to us, and the way they express it to us is not the same way we understand what they're trying to say.
No. Let me go back to that point though. When I said about the cashier, I mean like you're doing that job at the moment. Hey, I'm happy with what I'm doing in life.
Yeah.
It's paying the bills. I just want to
continue
with that. I'm not the study sort of person.
I work in Dunkin' Donuts, and I don't think I was able to have this intellectual conversation with my parents. Like, hey, I'm working in Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. Yeah, that's probably why you were like studying. That wasn't your career path. But if you you came back and said to your mum and dad,
This is what I want to do
I really
full time.
enjoy doing this. You know, I want to just carry on.
I mean, listen.
working on nothing else."
If a kid comes and says that, obviously it's upon the parents to put some ambition in them, to help them, to guide them,
Understand.
to try to understand. Like, there's better opportunities out there in life. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, it goes back to my point.
And it goes back to, like, okay, you don't have to force them that you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer. You know, it could be that the kid is so traumatized that he come to this circumstance. You know, but you know, there's so many other things in life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's so many different
and
things.
also, cashiering is also a career job.
It is, but
managing a store can also be a career job. So everything you mentioned can also be a career job. But I think the important thing is you're a parent, right? Like, it's like, how do you kind of like draw that line with your kids?
If my son was saying to me, I mean, by no means, if he wants to be a doctor, that's great. You know, that's one of the best careers.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But he doesn't have to do that, and he can do what he wants. But there is a limit.
Yeah.
Like, if he said to me, hey, you know, I've been working a summer job at this shop here.
Yeah.
I want to get on my studies and just carry on. Then that's different. I mean, I'll draw the line there and say, no, you know, you need to have ambition, like you're saying. You need to do something else. You don't need to be a lawyer or a doctor. You can, you know, help them out with other possibilities. Whereas it wouldn't be just like, son, you've got to be a doctor.
Right. You have to be.
No, you don't.
If you're not, don't come home.
Yeah.
So your thing is like a guide system.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. I think it goes hand in hand with all this stuff, right? Also, like, for example, I'm pretty sure all you guys experience this. Is like parents always comparing kids.
Yes.
All to other kids. Yes.
It's a very big.
I've got to the point where my mom still, and I'm like 26 right now, my mom still does it.
Yeah, but that helps a little bit.
No, it helps and helps.
It puts them down.
It puts you down too. It
But
puts
there's
you
a
down
fine
too.
line. If you cross it, if you do too much, yeah, it puts you down. But the other way, it motivates you. Like, for example, when I grew up, every day I see parents done it. Like, your cousin's doing this, your cousin's doing that. You need to do more. And it does push you a little bit. That's
Okay,
fine.
but what about to the point when they feel they're not good enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you're going too much.
Like, for example, like, oh, your cousin's doing this. What are you doing? You know,
All the
like,
time.
what are you doing? But you could the person might be doing something already. He might be working towards his own career, but it's not on the same level that his parents want him compared to his cousin. You know.
Yeah.
Some people.
Everybody's ambition, everybody's
faster
goal in
pace.
life is much different. It's just fast, fast, slow, pace, everything, you know, determined, you know. I mean, I think in our culture it's so big, like comparing kids, talking about kids. Oh, you did this. He's doing this. What are you doing? You know. I think stuff like that sometimes demotivates a child.
Of course.
You know, we should be like, you know. Parents should be in a way to motivate and help the kid. Like, okay, he's not doing good in school. He's kind of lost. He doesn't know. Like, yo, like, you know, let's open up a conversation. What do you want to do? You know, what are you thinking about? What do you like? Like, even like as an older brother, I started talking to my brother about it. He's in college, my youngest brother, and I was telling him, I was like, what do you enjoy? What do you like? You know.
Yeah,
he was telling me he likes finance, you know, he likes accounting, stuff like that. I was like, so study accounting, see if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy it, you can change it. It's not a problem. You know, I think one of the things that we talked about is time. Age and time. It's like, we're still young, you still have time. Don't kill yourself over it, you know?
Agreed.
Enjoy something, study something that you like, and go with that path.
And you don't, you know, study is important at the same time if you're not good at it.
Yeah.
And it's fine, you know, you can get out and say, right, I'm going to go and work and work my way up through experience.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do the study.
And in the real world,
Mr.
experience
Cookie,
is more
I
important.
just want to say this,
Right?
Mr. Cookie reminds
It's
me of
good.
like my childhood.
Yeah, it's, I've never had it before.
This
but
is amazing.
Well, my point was, you know, don't be afraid to fail. Okay, I'm sure there's nobody in this world that hasn't failed. You know, certainly have again and again you're going to fail. It's going to make you a better person, stronger person. But do you not think that as you're growing up, failure was not an option with Desi parents, especially? It's like, you know,
Yeah.
you've got to.
It has to be perfect every time.
Yeah, but it's not reality.
So I mean, going into that, which is very important, I think, is, I mean, you know, you have a lot of experience in the food industry. You know, you ran your own business. So if you were to give a career advice to anybody who's looking for a career change, right? What would you say to them if they were here right now and say, hey, look, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. You know, I've been always in this industry, or I've tried different industry and it hasn't worked out for me. What would you take beyond that?
So for me, I've been in the food industry for a long time, as you said. I've had one career. I've done it for a very long time, and I myself was very afraid of going out of that shell. The shell that was basically a protective shell for me, because at the end of the week I was getting checks, I was working, everything was in a consistency, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to change, but then as time went by, I was getting like, bored of my work, everything was always the same. So then one day, one week I just decided, hey, I'm gonna quit. So I left my job, I took a week off.
So what job was that?
I was a manager for Dunkin' Donuts. So I left, I took a week off, I relaxed, got my mind cleared. Then I joined another company called Taxiland. I started off, even that job, when I first started off, I had no idea what I was doing. In the first
So this was a complete change of career.
Complete change of career, because I was in the food industry and I went to insurance.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was doing. I had no idea. I was just sitting there looking at the computer like, what the fuck is this? Sorry.
You gotta blip
And
that.
then as time,
We're gonna have to bleep that up. Bleep and go again.
as time went by, there was one brother runner-by that I was working with. He taught me all the stuff, he how to do this, how to do that. And I slowly, a couple months later, I started picking it up, And now I can do it. Back of my head.
Yeah.
And then after that meantime, I also started another project. Me and my cousins, we opened up a restaurant, and there was times where it was very tough. I worked unlimited time hours just to get the business running, and there was times where I felt like giving up because money was going out all the time, but it wasn't coming in. Now I'm like, yo, I can't do this no more. It's too much work. I can't balance both work and everything. Eventually, as time went by, got the hang of it and everything. And my thing is that if somebody wants to just change a career path, just go for it.
Yeah.
You can't.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. You can't be afraid of like, oh, what's gonna happen tomorrow? What's gonna happen this? Just go for it. Do it. Try it. If you don't succeed in it, to go do something else. Like I did open a restaurant. It was doing very well, but I myself couldn't manage it, so I let go of it. But it's not in myself. I'm not saying I failed, because in myself I learned a lot of stuff from there. That in the future I will open another restaurant, and I will implicate what I learned from there in there, so it can be a success.
That's a tough job.
So is it safe to say that failure is never failure, but it's a lesson?
It's a learning curve.
You can never fail. Every time you fail, you learn from it.
It makes you stronger.
I mean, I think another thing that we should talk. We were talking about another day is like failing again and again. There's so many people that they would just like give up in life because they failed once, they failed twice, they failed 3 times, 4 times, 5th time. I mean, hey, you might fail like 7 times, but that 8th time you're gonna win like crazy.
Might be it. Yeah.
That 8th time is just gonna be the one. And I think people need to take from it is like, just keep going for it. Don't worry, learn from your mistake and shoot for it, And I think, it goes back to career-wise, when you're in senior of high school, junior of high school, and you're still deciding what you want to study, what you want to do. Yeah, you might go into college and study whatever you want, or look into different opportunities. But you still have time. You're still a freshman. You can decide what you want.
Yeah.
And I think
even somebody who's 30, right?
Yeah, even
on a career change.
Like there's so many people don't make it until their 40s,
50s,
60s. That's when it's like the peak time. You're still young,
My father started his career when he was 40. He opened his first restaurant. From then, he opened a second one and a third one. So age is not really a factor.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, it's really not a factor. You're gonna at one point.
I think what's
you
more
realize that you do it, you're gonna do it big.
I think what's more important is experience.
Experience, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's important actually. We tell the audience what we all do.
Yeah.
What background we're from.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We've heard from you. So my background is mortgages and real estate. Recently got my real estate license in New York. I was doing a similar thing in the UK in mortgages, and when I moved over here, I started the same thing here. So with me, it's still building. It's building. You know, I might not stay in that career forever, but let's see where it takes me. At the moment, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. I love creating new ideas, new business models. Currently, I'm running 2 businesses, Taxiland and Grand Limo. Managing more than 1,000 vehicles, drivers, insurance. We have a TOC school as well. And I'm working on a lot of different other projects as well. Hey, I failed so many times, and I continue probably failing, you can say, but it doesn't stop me from keep going. And I think you should always keep going.
So it's important. You say you shouldn't let the failure stop you. What keeps on motivating you every time you fail? Like, what is it? Because, you know, a lot of times the biggest problem that we face is that when you fail something, right?
Yeah.
You lose that interest of trying to go do it again.
Yeah.
So what is it that what did you figure out that makes you go again?
So I think at a young age, I've seen a lot, and I've failed a lot, and I've talked myself basically into it, where I was like, listen, whatever has happened for a reason. You know, if you can't control this right now, when the bigger picture comes, how will you be able to control that?
Gotcha.
You know, Allah puts us in a position where we are failing now, and it could be a minute thing, because He's creating us, getting us ready for a bigger project or a bigger thing that we might actually fail in. So if we're failing in a minute thing and we're just giving up, how are we going to handle something in a massive scale?
Yeah.
You know? And the thing is, you have to be motivated, honestly. Like, you just can't give up. You have to, as an entrepreneur and a businessman, you're going to be in a position where things are just going to come at you. Just left, right, everything. Yeah. And you have to be able to handle everything, handle your people, and control everything and keep it going.
Yeah.
Because if you give up, the whole thing's going to crash.
Yeah.
Coming down on you so fast. You're the moving power, exactly.
What motivates you is, you need the bread and butter.
Yeah.
So I came to New York under sort of very strange circumstances. And I was like, right, I need to do something. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do here, but I need to make it. This is one of the most expensive cities to live in. Truth, I lived in LA for 2.5 years, lived in UK, and out of the 3, this is definitely the most expensive. So, you find a way. The first thing to do, the easiest thing to do was for me to get a TLC license.
Yeah.
So I start driving for TLC while I try and get my license in for real estate, alongside doing another job as well. Then you just work your way up, and that motivation is, you don't want to do it. Driving, when I first came, driving for Uber, it was horrible. It's not something that I've done.
Yeah.
I still do it, but it's horrible. It's hard. I don't know how people do it. It's driving 10 hours a day, whatever. I don't do anything near that because I just can't do it. It's just such a difficult job to do. But you just got to do it. Otherwise, you got your family to feed.
Why don't you tell?
So it's very important, right? Like, so I went through tons of different experiences myself. Again, my background is I'm more on the corporate side of the world. I've always held corporate jobs from companies to companies, working with the state. So I think what's important, and I think this is for me, and if I was to give this advice to the younger generation or anybody doing a career change or anybody who's lost in where they are or dealing with the parents, the one thing that I want everybody to keep in mind is taking to the factor of technology, taking to the factor of how change is coming our way. I think one of the biggest mistake that we can make is that almost preparing and gearing our life and career and our time and effort into a field that may not exist. Right? So what I mean by that?
Yeah, I agree with you on
today,
that.
like a lot of times, and I'm not putting down any field in any given way.
Of course.
But every single field is touched by technology, right? Now, for instance, I have a good friend of mine that's in radiology, He's a radiologist, and they're integrating IBM Watson to read a lot of these data and a lot of this information. So when our parents talk to us like, I want you to do this, or you say, okay, you know what, based on my research, this is what I want to do. But what you have to remember, and this is the key portion, right, is that by the time you finish school, by the time you're retooling yourself in terms of education and you go out in the field, that's not today. That's 3, 4, 5 years down the line, right? 3, 4, 5 years down the line, will that career path going to be in demand and also exist at the same time? If not, what happens? Because the biggest problem, look, in terms of people having a career is that the thing that we know, almost 70-80% of people go to school for one thing, but they do something else, right? Why is that? That's almost because we prepare ourselves based on what's needed today. I'm not going to the job market today if I started school. I'm not going to start getting that $100,000 job if I'm, going for education in a complete different field or sector, right? So I think this is for the generation or the individual that's looking for a career change. Make sure you understand the impact of technology and what it is you're trying to do. Entrepreneurship, business, you're trying to come up with an idea, come up with an app, always factor that in.
Yeah.
For the parents, and this is me speaking directly to the parents right now, is that open up and talk to your kids more. Because, end of the day, what they're exposed to in school, in the field, at work, it's not something you have experienced. As much as you want to say you know it all and you've seen it all, but that's one point I disagree with the parents. They have not seen it all.
Yeah.
Nobody can say they have seen it all.
No, they've seen it, but in their time.
In their time.
But we're talking about different time, right?
Exactly.
These kids are seeing something totally different.
Yeah.
We're talking about a whole different country too.
Yes.
We're talking about dealing with different ethnicities. We're talking about different culture and everything. Where our parents come from, they were in school with the same people. Same culture, same religion, same everything, but we're in a whole different country, a whole different culture. Everything's different here, And I think parents need to open up and understand their kids and have a communication. I think communication is very important. Be it with your spouse, be it relationship, be it with your parents, be it with your siblings, everybody.
Yeah.
I think communication is very, very important, and I think in our community, it's lacking.
Yeah, and I think even for us, I'm saying this today, but
I think we can all agree. One of the reasons why we're doing this is that we want to talk about topics that people won't talk about.
Sensitive.
Yeah. Sensitive topics that people would not want to talk about.
Yeah, agreed. And I think even for us, the important thing is we're still young, no matter how we look at it, right?
Of course.
As we get older, as we deal with more life challenges, he's not that young.
He's very young.
So as we deal with these challenges, I'm afraid that when I get to that age, right? No, but this is important. Listen, when I get to that age of when I'm a dad, right? I just hope that I have the strength to also be open-minded. I'm saying that today. But can I continue on carrying that understanding that I should be open like my parents should be open with me? Will I do the same thing to my kids?
Hopefully.
You know what the problem is?
I think he can answer this better because he's a dad already.
I mean, you're going to get certain parents that, no matter what you say, they're set in their mind. You
agree.
You can't have that, there's some parents that you can't have that bond with to talk about open things like that. I could probably speak about it with my mum. When my dad was around, I think it was more kind of a respectful thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I had a lot of respect for him. So it'd be very difficult to have that conversation with him.
Yeah, I think I agree with him as well.
Yeah.
But I agree with you and I disagree at the same time because I've come to the level where now I can talk to my dad because we're business partners and we can talk about different. But once again, we still have a huge communication problem.
I think that's just more of a respect area.
Yeah.
I think
We need more chai.
Yeah.
Chai and chat can't be just chat, right?
Chai.
It needs to be
What's a chai?
Is there like a certain age you think that you mentioned about a career path?
Yeah.
That is there a certain age you think that by this age you should know what you're doing, or does it not really matter? Like you're saying you're still looking.
It goes both ways. Sometimes you should know how. At a certain time, you should know what you're doing. Like you can't just go do random stuff.
You gotta pay your bills.
Somebody gotta pay the bills.
I mean, here's the thing, right?
But then, Let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
He doesn't have chai, so he's
He's
a little spruced up right now, you know?
He needs some more chai.
You have to have a set goal of what you're doing. You have to know a direction you're going towards. But at that time, if you're doing something, be like, hey, I did this already. Let me try something else. But when you're going to something else, you have to also be a little prepared. Be like, hey, it might go that way, it might go this way, but at the same time, you won't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, realistically, right? You could plan your life right now for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
But tomorrow things can change. Like Jay, did you think that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you would be here in New York? 10 years ago?
No.
With getting a real estate license?
Not even United
I
States.
think what's more important is that you have ambition.
You got to be prepared for the change.
You got to be prepared for the change. So it goes back to what you said, right? Yeah. For example, you become a doctor, right?
Yeah.
Even in the medical field, technology is coming into it and changing the whole atmosphere. But you have to keep up with it, right?
Of course.
Be a lawyer, be an insurance broker. I mean, even the insurance business is changing so fast.
Of course.
You know?
Of course.
So if you're not
driving cars,
exactly, if you're not up to date, you're always gonna fall behind. But ambition.
If you're not prepared for change.
Exactly.
So you gotta be mentally open to adjust with time.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, right?
It's always good to also have your hand in different parts. I think you mentioned that to me the other day.
Yeah.
So if one thing fails, if technology changes, then you got something to fall back on. Like
always have a backup plan.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I'm in the real estate industry. My TLC license is always there. If that doesn't work out, I've also got this other closing job I do. So that's always there. There's 3 different ways.
But isn't our backup plan our parents?
That's always there too. That's like, that's the final one.
You know?
That's when you know. That's when you know you failed. That's when you call it a day. When you're like, 30 or 40. And
hey, I know good friends that live with their parents. They're 40s, and still not married, and that's fine, right? They're okay with it. They're comfortable with it. Like for me, by 40, I want to have a few kids.
So what's the general outcome for our little chat today? Is to open up to your parents more.
I think the general outcome for the whole conversation is communication. Parents communicating with their kids, kids communicating with their parents.
So why don't we do this like quickly, right?
Yeah.
Each one of us going around. Why don't we break down the advice, because obviously we're talking about parents, and we're talking about a career, right? Because they go hand in hand. So why don't we individually, as we go around, give the advice for the change, and then also give an advice to the parents. Because hey, you know what? End of the day, if the parent are open and they watch our video, why don't we talk directly to them?
Yeah.
On a different perspective, right? Give it to the parents.
Go for it.
So so in terms of career, like I said, from my end, is that always be keen and be aware of the changes in technology, and make sure you consider that into whatever it is that you're doing. And parents, my advice is please understand that yes, you bring a lot of experience to the table. You bring guidance for us. You want what's best for us. You love us. You care for us. With all of that being said, don't make us feel that we don't know anything. Don't underestimate the fact that we are the ones that's out there and dealing with the new generations. We are the ones that's dealing with the new bosses and the new technologies, right? And I think I would appreciate for you to have a conversation with your kids, or with your significant other, with an open mind, that your knowledge and your experience can also be very much more fruitful when you combine it with the kids or your significant other. I think that's 2 separate sides for me.
Yeah. I think the outcome that I would say is to kids who are freshmen. I mean, like freshmen in college, sophomores. I think be ambitious. Whatever career you choose, if you like it, it's never too late to change it. Have a communication with your parents. Don't be afraid to go to your parents and talk to them about it. Just tell them, hey, this is what I like, this is what I want to do, and have a communication with them. And parents, hear the kid out. Listen to what he wants to do. Try to understand. It might be something new that you never heard of. It comes back to what you said. There's a lot of things our parents don't see that we see nowadays. Yeah. So it might be something in a new field that never existed before. Now it exists because of technology. So parents, if your kid enjoys it, open up a communication, talk to them, always have an understanding with them, and always be there and support them.
Oh, support them. That's a good
support
one.
is very important.
For them,
Absolutely.
yes.
That's it goes back to the motivation. A support from a parent motivates a kid a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you support your kid, a kid's gonna be hella motivated because he has the backing of his parents. What more happiness can there be than that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nothing more.
I think really to the youngsters, you don't have to be that big shot lawyer.
He said youngsters.
To that doctor. Follow whatever you want to do. If you have a career path you want to take, do it. As long as you can succeed in that, as long as you enjoy it. I think the most important thing there is you've got to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. You can go out there and make $200,000 a year, but if you're going to be depressed, you're not enjoying life.
Yeah.
You're going to wake up in the morning every day, go to work, you're not happy, then there's no point. There's plenty of jobs you can make that 6-figure salary in. So follow whatever you want to do. And to the parents, just be understanding, try and understand what, your child is going into, what career they want to focus on, what they can make out of it. So I think again, it goes down to the keyword communication between the kids and parents.
Yeah.
So wait, I want you to just do a third part, right? I want you to talk to the parents as a parent.
Right.
Because I want you to look directly in the eyes, right?
Yeah.
And then say, listen, I'm a parent and I'm talking to you and this is my message for you. Because I think that's important. Because parents may not listen to us, but they may listen to you differently.
Yeah. So as a parent myself, if my son comes to me, he wants a particular career path, I would definitely, be willing to listen to that. I'll be supportive of that. It's obviously, there's got to be limitations. I think at the beginning we discussed limitations. So, there's got to be a standard, obviously. But my son doesn't have to be that doctor, that lawyer. He can follow a different dream, and I'm willing to understand that.
A rapper, an artist?
Rapper and artist, again, it goes back to rapper. How many people are really successful in that industry? How many people are really going to make it?
I think we need more chai for that, which we don't have. Which we can talk about another.
So that goes back to limitations.
Yes.
But if my son wants to follow a different dream, I'm happy and I will support him in that. As long as it's going to be successful, as long as he's going to do well in it, he can make a living out of it. I'm happy with that.
Respect that. That's for the parents. Parents to parents.
Parents.
My thing is for the people that are starting up in life and everything. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Don't be scared of failure. Don't even be scared of success. Some people might think, "Hey, I'm becoming too successful." What if there's haters out there? There's also another way. Don't be afraid of that. Just go.
We need more chai for that.
Honestly. Go do you.
It's a deep talk.
Go do you. Do what you want to do. Be happy what you're doing. If you're doing one thing, you're not successful in it. Continue doing something else. The whole aspect is don't be scared.
Everybody fails in life. Everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody fails in life. And for the parents, my thing is just be there for your kids. Listen, support them. Yeah. If they're saying one thing, don't be like, "Hey, you're not gonna make it in life." Talk to them. Be like, "Hey, if you do this in this way, it might help you in that aspect." Yeah. No, it's guiding is the best thing to do. And at the end of the day, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So I think, guys, we can go on for days talking about different topics, and especially this topic in general. So hopefully you guys all love our first episode. I mean, we did talk a lot, and we talked about a lot of important things, but our main focus was to talk about parents and kids and the communication and careers for the kids. And we all been through it, and we're still going through it. We're still communicating with our parents and having difficulties communicating with our parents. So these are things that we are, hopefully more topics that we will talk about and stuff like that. So
and I think also, like, if you feel there's a topic that you can't have a conversation with your parents about, whatever it may be, maybe give us a shout, and
Yeah,
then
maybe we'll
would
invite
love to,
we'll invite your parent too.
yeah,
man,
Invite
you
your
know.
parents and you at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You never know.
we'll do a whole live
Cancel
conversation.
Yeah, we might need a lot of tea for that. I'm gonna tell you that much.
We talked so much today, we finished our teas.
Yeah, so I think next episode we're gonna have to bring a big pot of tea
Yeah.
and just leave it there. But hey guys, thank you for watching episode 1 on Chai and Chat. We have a lot of more topics lined up. Comment below, subscribe, share with your friends, your family, your parents, everybody. And hope to see you next week, guys. Thank you very much.
Peace.